Welcome to Wealthy Women's Conversation Podcast, where we celebrate the incredible journeys of everyday amazing women who are building their own path to wealth and financial security on their own terms. I am your host, Trishelle Williams, and I am so thrilled to have you join us today. Here on Wealthy Women Conversations Podcast, we are all about breaking the mold and rewriting the rules when it comes to creating wealth. Are you an amazing woman that's 40 years old or older who's looking to build financial freedom? Then this is a podcast for you. Our goal each week is to be a beacon of hope and inspiration, no matter your age or money experience level. On this podcast, you will hear from amazing women who have overcome obstacles, defied societal expectations, and created their own version of wealth, success, strength, and resilience. Now, get ready for a heartwarming, relatable, fun, and empowering conversation that will leave you feeling motivated to take action. Together, we'll shatter limitations, challenge conventional thinking, and redefine what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. So, let's tune in to today's conversation. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Welcome to our next episode of Wealthy Women Conversations. I am so excited to be your host and to being able to share some yummy with you today. I get to share today. Actually, let's talk about the month of September. For those of you who potentially might be listening to this on a replay, it is September in 2023, and I get the entire month to myself. I am excited about that. Why am I excited about that? I'm excited about that because I get to share quite a few different stories, quite a few anecdotes, things about me. You guys get to learn some stuff. And I'm also preparing for our season 2, which is about to be so absolutely yummy. You guys, we have done a full season of episodes chatting with amazing women that are building their wealthy lives on their own terms and on their own paths. And I have absolutely been engaging in all of the content and truly learned so much from so many of them. And today, I get to have some conversations with you all, and it's all around the failure system. I had this awesome, amazing conversation with my dad, and my husband are going to be a part of. Yes, they're going to be a part of season 2. And I'm so excited about that I'll be able to share those episodes with you guys that are going to be coming up again. Because what's interesting is that men see money so very differently. It is just so interesting how they engage with the space of money, which is different from the way women engage with it. But it's not necessarily bad. Not one is better than the other. It's just really, they see it from a very different space. And so I'm so happy and grateful that I'll get to share my father and also my husband and their perspectives and their building their wealthy selves on the episodes in season 2. So y'all get prepared for season 2. Season 2 is about to be lit. Yes. So this conversation today is actually a conversation that was struck from my dad. Now, what's awesome and amazing is that I am literally a fingerprint of my dad and my mom, but many of my attributes definitely come from my dad. My heart comes from my mom. And so when I start to consider what things should look like or be like, or if I'm trying to process through, am I making right choices and making right decisions, I typically will call my father because he's going to be able to have an insight that I necessarily don't have. And then the second part is that I'm not calling my mom because my mom spends money the way I do. It's very emotional. It's very, this is what I want. It is very not necessarily planned. And my dad is looking at it from a very different space. So is my husband. And so there are parts of me that I am very aware that several things are operating at the same time, right? So two things can be present at the same time, meaning I can be emotional, but also very calculated. I can be someone who is rocking out success and also could potentially be very depressed, right? I could be winning financially, but also health is an issue, right? And I don't necessarily want any of that stuff. I'm just saying there could be two things that are present at the same time. And I typically go to my dad when I am in a space or a desire to learn or to grow or to get insight on things that I, for whatever reason, can't figure out myself. Which is one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to have my dad be a part of the podcast at some point and share some of the insights. Because what I am very aware of is there's many people that don't have that. That's actually a massive privilege at the age of 48. There are lots of people who fathers are not here on this earth anymore. And so they don't have someone that they can go and bounce ideas off and talk to and have a conversation with, and they can see insight. Now, the awesome and amazing thing about my father is that I am his child. I am his fingerprint. And so he's able to say the things that I'm thinking, but I'm not necessarily always willing to say. And he's also willing to challenge the things that I am thinking. And this particular conversation today came from that very moment. And he talked to me about a failure system and understanding, because if I be real honest, I'm gonna tell all my business. I was just like, Dad, I just feel like such a failure. Not that I did all the amazing things that I have done, but it just, I can get into a space where I feel some kind of way about the current things that I am doing, and I'll forget what the previous things were, right? And so we were having a conversation about my degrees and the work that I put in with my degrees and the system of education, which is what my degrees are in, and how I all of the information that he was learning and growing. And he talked about a failure system. And I wanted to talk to you guys about the failure system, or a failure system, not the, like as if there's only one. There isn't. There are multiple failure systems, and we don't always know that it is a failure system. Most times failure systems are presented as the winning system. You do this thing, you get this result. And many times you don't realize that it is a failure system until after you have spent so much time in it that you realize it is not the thing that is going to be a win. And a great example of this, I have several examples, and we might actually get to a few of them while we are here. But a great example of that is that for many of us, we grew up in a space where we were told in order to build wealth, you need to do a savings account. And so many people have done savings accounts to turn around and realize that by the end of 5 years or 10 years, you look at that account and you've only increased that account by a few $100s, and that is not going to build wealth. A savings account is a failure system. And most of us don't realize that a savings account is a failure system. It has a purpose, but it is not to build wealth. And we did not get taught that. That was the only space that we thought was going to be great. At least that's what I was told. Make sure you have a savings account. Make sure you have a savings account. Make sure you have a savings account. And I did, right? And I was saving, right? But it wasn't building wealth either. And so when I look up and I look at the account and I'm looking at the dollars and cents, and I'm like, how long will it take for this to hit $1 million, right? How long will this take to hit $100,000? It will never, ever, ever hit the $1 million. It will never, ever, ever hit the $100,000 because it's a failure system. The system is set up to fail you. It is not set up to do the thing that it has promised. And that is what a failure system is. And so my dad and I were having this conversation, and it blew my mind. It literally blew my mind because I believed in a system that literally does not produce the result it promised. And I found myself, after years of believing it, and to finally start to ask questions like, well, when does this happen? Well, when do you see the fruit? Like, when will this become? And I'm not talking about, I put in a little time, a couple days, a few months here and there. I'm talking about years. I'm talking about 15 years into a system, and still there is no reward at the end. And it's because the system is still considered, it is a failure system. And I didn't even realize that was a thing. I had no idea that that was a thing. And so I wanted to chat with you guys and have you all consider, because I talk always about considering. You don't have to accept what I say to you as a yes. You don't have to accept what I say to you as a no. Considering just means you're pondering the information and you allow it to sit and to resonate where it needs to sit and resonate. And you could throw it out if you want to. But I want you to consider how many things you are believing is going to produce a result that is actually a failure system. It sounds great. It appears to be great. People have believed and said it was going to be great, yet it's a failure system. Now, let me revisit the comment that a savings account is a failure system. Here's the thing about, a savings account. A savings account does exactly what a savings account does. It will save and it will shield and hold your money. Yet many people have deemed it as a way to build wealth, and they use it as a way to build wealth. Oh, I'm going to give you another one in just a minute, and y'all going to probably get at me for this one. But in reality, it's not. It is not the thing that we think it is. It's not the thing that we've been told it is. It's not the thing that people have in certain communities, my community, that it's supposed to do. And they didn't give me instructions on how, like, I want to build wealth. Do you have a savings? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got a savings. And they're like, okay, and that's it. No one's talking about the portfolio. No one's talking about how you actually for real build wealth, which is not in a savings experience. And so here's the other thing. Let me give you another failure system. A failure system is the debt system. And let me explain what I mean when I'm talking about it. Y'all gonna get mad at me. Y'all gonna be like, what? Say that again. People saying that in order for you to be financially successful, what you need to do is you will need to pay off all your debt, right? You need to be debt free in order to build wealth, right? That's the thing. That's a failure system, y'all. Paying off debt never produces wealth. Y'all, listen. Paying off debt does not produce wealth. Hear me, y'all. Hear what I'm saying. Many people will tell you, you just need to pay your debt off. Here's the thing. Paying off debt will make you debt free. It is not going to produce you with wealth. It will make you debt free. Yet the system will try to get you to spend all of your money in paying off debt versus your money building wealth. What's the difference, Trishelle? Here's the difference that I really understood, and it took me time to really get it. It's not that you're not supposed to pay the things that you have spent. It's not that. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying you should be also doing the things that build financial liquidity in your life. Like, paying debt does not build, it is not going to give you a return on your investment. What are the things that give you a return on your investment? Stock, real estate, businesses, buying businesses. You want to get into spaces that is going to give you a greater return than the other side. And I'm just like, wow. And so what was happening was, and I'll give you guys an example. I think my first $100,000 was through real estate. I know my first 100K was through real estate, and I had that happen over several times. If you haven't listened to any of the other podcasts, at the age of 28, 29, I had a portfolio of real estate of over a million plus, right? My real estate portfolio was very, very huge. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, so don't get excited. Y'all don't get excited. I was able to sell quite a bit of it, but I also lost quite a bit of it, right? Here's the thing. In the space of accumulating what we understand and know to be wealth, the thing is, there are conversations about systems that will keep people, because you're doing something. So in a failure system, you're still doing stuff, right? In a failure system, saving, you're doing something. You see that number moving, you're doing all these things. Paying off debt, ooh, you're doing something. You're paying down a bill, so that number is going down, and so you're doing something. And so the system is set up to make you feel like you're doing something, when in reality you are doing something, but it's not the right something. And so when I was having a conversation with my dad, he helped me to understand that I did all the things that I was told to do. The unfortunate thing was I was told the wrong things. And that's the part that just really damaged my heart. My heart has been healing from that space for quite some time. And I really want people to understand there is a difference. Doing something will make you feel good. It gives you the endorphins as if you are hitting the mark and you're doing the things. But if the thing is not going to give you a return on the energy that you're putting out, it is literally like being on a hamster wheel. You're running, but you are getting nowhere. And my hope for you is to understand that if someone calls out a failure system, that you are able to not push back on it, but you are able to actually consider, oh my God, I hadn't considered that. I hadn't thought about that. OMG. You are so right. And then you start to ask the right questions in order to get on the right system so that you can then be in the winning system. Unfortunately, I didn't know that for a very long time. And so I was doing things and I was putting things together, but the system was flawed. The system would never produce the results that I desired it to produce. And that's the unfortunate thing. That was the hard thing. That was the hard pill to swallow. And it took me out for quite some time. And as I walked out of the space, I wanted to stay in a space because the space gave me the ability to be angry and to be mad and to point fingers. But being in a space where I'm mad, it won't give me the space to move into the right system and then actually get the things that I desire. I'll give you a last example of a failure system that, and a failure system as far as building wealth. A job is a failure system. Here's the thing. A job is going to do what the job is supposed to do. It's going to make sure you have the things that you need to do in order to have the life that you want, right? Here's the problem with people don't talk about with a job is that a job can be taken from you, which means that your livelihood can be absolutely stripped from you at any given time. And with hopes, you can then go find something very fast to then pick up. But if the job is gone, that means that the source of revenue that you are bringing in is over. It's gone. It's done. And so the life that you are currently living, it could potentially go away. That system is not created for you to build wealth. And so when I call it a failure system, I'm calling it a failure system for different reason. It's not that it's not something that you're doing. And I'm hoping you get that. I'm hoping you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm trying to land and to put on the table. What I'm saying to you is that system produces a thing, but it doesn't necessarily produce the thing that you always want. And if you think about it in its totality long enough to understand, you want to get into a space where you're using those things to get to the thing that you want. So I always tell, if you have not been a part of the Wealthy Women Conversation on Facebook, we did a workshop, and that workshop specifically talked about the spaces of the 70-30 rule. And I talk to people about the 70-30 rule and how you use that in order for you to get into a space where you're using the failure systems in order to build your wealthy place. And there is a strategy to do that. But you first have to acknowledge that it is a failure system and you're wondering why you're not where you thought you should be, why you don't have what you thought you should have, why the goals are not where they're not goaling, right? And it is just one of those things. And so I have spent a lot of time beating myself up because I'm like, I'm giving all this energy, I'm giving all this time, I'm giving all these things, I'm doing all of this, and I'm putting this out there, and I'm putting this out, and I'm all that to turn around and still not get the desired result. Am I getting a result? Yes, there is a result happening, but it's not the desired result, and it just doesn't make sense because this is what you told me I would get by doing this. Yet I'm not getting that. Am I getting something? Yes. And that's what gets people get caught up. They get caught up because they get caught in the trap of getting something. And so people will have the thought of something is better than nothing. And so because of that, we end up not moving forward. So I just wanted you guys to consider what you are doing. Consider if you're getting the desired result, and then consider whether or not is it a failure system that you were attached to and you just didn't realize, right? So I'm so happy and grateful that I get a chance to share this awesome and amazing with you. Again, for the rest of September, I get to be on here and yap it out with you all, drop some amazing nuggets. Hopefully it will help you transform and build your wealthy life on your own terms. And I am just ready to roll. So if you're ready to roll and you haven't, click one of those links, join us on Facebook. Our academy actually is closed into January. So, hey, you'll be able to get in, but there will be a wait list that's going to be out there for those of you who want to get into the academy. But if you definitely want to connect with me, I will definitely be having links here where you can drop in that. Or if you just want to get into the free community, come on over to Facebook, Wealthy Women Conversations, and I will see you there. Until next week, yes, keep building your wealth, ladies. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Wealthy Women Conversation Podcast. We hope you found inspiration and wisdom as we sat at the table to grow and learn with our amazing guest who has paved the way for her own financial freedom. Remember, you hold the power to create your own version of wealth, success, and fulfillment. No matter where you are on your journey, it's never too late to take control of your financial future. Keep seeking knowledge, exploring opportunities, and embracing your unique strengths. Together, we're challenging the norms, shattering limitations, and redefining what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. Join us for future episodes as we share captivating stories, insightful advice, and practical strategies to support our wealthy journey together. If you enjoyed this podcast, please don't hesitate to return next week, where there will be another amazing, brilliant, and absolutely captivating guest to speak on what it takes to build your own path to wealth and success. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Women Conversations podcast. Stay focused, determined, and strive for the wealthy life you desire. Until next time, I'll see you on the wealthy side.